107.7 the franchise.
Are we going to get a thorough breakdown of Trump's trip to India?
Yeah, well, you know what? Yes, but it's going to be after Brandon Rahbar from the Daily Thunder. He's going to join us in the next segment. Awesome interview with Danilo Gallinari. We'll ask him about some of the stuff on there. Plus, great beat writer. We'll ask him his thoughts on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Making his debut with us, Brandon Rahbar from the Daily Thunder on 107.7 The Franchise, 107.9 in Tulsa. 107.7 The Franchise, 107.9 in Tulsa. Gabe, you talk to me off air and on air. You hear both of them, right? My voice on air and off air.
Yeah, sounds the same to me, but I know it doesn't to a lot of people. Just like any other radio person, when you hear yourself on air, you're like, ugh, that's me? Remember when I first started this?
Yeah.
And everyone was like,
you sound terrible.
You've got an awful voice. I was like, well, I made an interesting career decision.
Trust me.
My mom was right. Should have gone to med school.
Hasn't bothered me any in my career. But I say that because I called Brendan Rahbar, who's from the Daily Thunder. He joins us on the Little Caesars Hot and Ready hotline right now. And I said, hey, what's up? And he's like, Gabe? It's like, no, it's not Gabe. It's Jerry. And I'm just like,
He doesn't know what we sound like.
I don't sound that different than I do on the radio. And Brandon, once again, this is your debut with us, so don't screw this up because we'll never have you on again. But it's me. It's TV's Jerry. It's the guy you sit next to all the time, okay?
I think I was just thrown off because, I have my mom listening today, and I know that she tuned in, and I think the first word she heard was pig taint.
Yeah, that was me. That's on me. That's my bad.
Yep. We cover it from the root to the toot here, Brandon. So
we're talking about hot dogs, Brandon. I don't know. It got weird.
It's fine. All right, let's start off smooth, and then we'll get it going. Obviously, Daily Thunder is a blog and a podcast, and you guys do a great job and got a great interview with Danilo Gallinari, which we'll get into in a second. But tonight they take on the Chicago Bulls, and they have a chance to break the record for most consecutive road victories by a Thunder team. I say that to say this is the team that's doing that. How surprising have you found this team this year?
Yeah, it's shocking. You look back and you had so many great Thunder teams. The 2012 team that went to the finals, went to the Western Conference Finals 4 times. Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Paul George. And then you have this team this year that was supposed to be rebuilding, supposed to be tanking. And it's just kind of this ragtag group of veterans and young guys. And, they didn't win their first road game until, like their 7th road game. They started out like 0-6. And then all of a sudden they're on course to win their 9th in a row tonight. I think it's going to happen. And I think, early on in the season we were all shocked. But at this point, I don't know that this Thunder team can do anything to surprise us anymore, right? I mean, they've just been so good all year long.
So, Brandon, does anything about the Chicago Bulls concern you tonight as they go on the road and play a team that is 20-38? But Kobe White, he has come on in these last couple of games. They've inserted him into the starting lineup. Is that maybe the only thing that concerns you, along with Zach LaVine?
Yeah, I think those two guys are the only two guys that you have to worry about. I mean, Zach LaVine could go off for 30 any night, and like you said, Kobe White, is a rookie that didn't really do much at all the first part of the season, but he really has been coming on lately. He scored 33 a couple of times. I mean, he's a guy that can put up a lot of points, but I think ultimately, if you lock on to both those guys, they don't really have anything else to worry about. I'd be surprised. It's the NBA, and playing at home is always a big advantage, so you can never take anything for granted on the road. But I would be surprised if the Thunder don't win tonight against this Bulls team.
All right, let's get into it. This big coup that you got getting Danilo Gallinari. I wanted to talk to you because you're the one that talked to him, and I'm not getting it secondhand. I don't want to hear everybody's opinion of what Danilo Gallinari was talking about or saying. But you asked him, what are the thoughts of maybe coming back next season? And you were there with the facial features. You saw everything. Did he honestly say that he thought that coming back to Oklahoma City was a good option?
Yeah, so I'm glad that you worded it that way, Jerry, because when I asked him, I did see the facial expression, and I think a lot of times you see quotes on Twitter, you see things on social media, and it looks like clickbait, right? You see this headline or you see this quote, and you think that the reporter is just kind of trying to grease you up and to get you to click on the thing. But I'll tell you, seriously, his face, he lit up. He really genuinely looked like he wanted to come back. When he said, "I hope so," in talking about coming back and re-signing with the Thunder in the offseason, he genuinely looked happy and excited when talking about the Thunder and the possibilities of staying here.
Talking to Brandon Rahbar from the Daily Thunder. Remember, he has an exclusive interview with Danilo Gallinari. Plus, they do a pretty good job of putting together Oklahoma. Not as good as our Thunder insiders.
I mean, frankly, I thought I was following Brandon on Twitter because his clever little tweets had been retweeted so many times by people I followed. I was like, I'm following that guy. Yeah. And then I noticed I wasn't. So I followed him on Twitter the other day.
Yeah,
and he followed me back. I felt real special.
Do we say hello to your mother, Brandon? Do you want us to do that? Hello, Brandon's mom.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Especially Gabe. I'd really love for Gabe to say hi to my mom.
Mrs. Rahbar, sup? How you doing today?
That got weird. Really,
you said say hi.
Weird.
That's my version of hi.
Really quick.
Now, Brandon, an interesting video comes out yesterday, right? Andre Robertson, he's back at the team facility. He's getting some shots up. Well, what should Thunder fans make of that whole thing?
Man, it's so hard. I mean, that's a great mystery. I don't know if Andre Robertson even really knows if he's going to be back this season or not. I think that we all kind of decided, okay, it's just not going to happen. Quit trying to make Andre Robertson happen. It's not going to happen. But
great Mean Girls reference. I get it. Don't worry. Jerry doesn't. I get it, Brandon. I'm with you.
Yes, thank you. But here's the thing. The Thunder, he could be back. I would be surprised. I'd be shocked. But I was surprised and shocked that he was back with the Thunder. He's been rehabbing in California and kind of coming back and forth. But to see him yesterday at the practice facility, not only putting up shots, but, he was running and playing defense. And the fact that the Thunder kind of gave us the little nugget of, we'll see. It's possible. It's possible. I mean, is it possible that Andre Robertson comes back and plays this playoffs? Yes, it's possible. I would be surprised. But this season has been full of surprises, right? So it's very possible Andre Robertson comes back.
All right, so you guys put out the little sound clip of Windhorst talking about Billy Donovan and maybe how Windhorst says that he might have had his wits end with Russell Westbrook and, maybe that he wouldn't be the coach this year if Russell Westbrook had come back. He's coming to the end of this contract year. Did the Thunder do enough? Did Sam Presti do enough with this team to forget signing Billy Donovan back? Does he want to come back?
I think that this has been a great year for Billy Donovan all the way around. I think that respect nationwide, respect from fans has gone up. I think that he's a top 3 Coach of the Year candidate. And, those things go a long way. And I think in talking to Billy, seeing him on the sidelines, hearing him speak in post-game conferences, he seems, to be enjoying this season. His relationship with Chris Paul, I'm not going to go into his relationship and try to break down what was going on with him and Russell Westbrook, but I do feel like the relationship between him and Chris Paul seems to be a friendly one, a good one. They seem to be enjoying each other. I think that you've seen Billy Donovan at his best this season because he has a group of young guys and vets who are listening to him and taking his coaching to heart. And at this point, I would guess that Billy Donovan will be back next season.
All right, Brandon, how are you feeling about Lou Dort? I am completely convinced that he should be coming off the edge in the NFL as an outside linebacker, but it seems like this basketball thing is starting to really work out from him. I mean, just how crazy is this situation that they've got a 2-way contract guy that is now a starter and appears to be a key contributor moving forward into a playoff run?
It's absolutely nuts. I mean, it really is. An undrafted 2-way rookie. that's not even practicing with the team because they don't want to use those 45 days of the two-way contract up. I mean, it's unheard of. I mean, this is just completely bizarre. But here's the deal with Lou Dort. First of all, I'm a fan. I really am. I think he's an
Homer.
NBA caliber player right now. Say what, Jerry?
Homer.
Yeah. I just don't know how you couldn't love this guy. You know, he's just a great story because, you know, he's kind of like a diamond in the rough, a rocky underdog story. And here he is. You throw him into the fire, and he's guarding Damian Lillard and James Harden and DeMar DeRozan. Not only is he guarding them, but he's shutting them down in a lot of these games. And here's the deal, though. He has the pedigree. When you go back and look, he was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, and he played the 1 year at Arizona State. And all through that year, he was supposed to be a first-round draft pick. But as the draft got closer, scouts started to move him down because they weren't convinced that he would improve his shot. You know, it's all about shooting nowadays. So even though he had an NBA-ready body, even though he looked like he could be an elite defender and he could drive to the rim, because of his shot, people started pegging him down. But he does have that first-round pedigree. It's basically like finding a first-round draft pick for absolutely free. The Thunder found a good one in Lou Dort.
Great stuff, Brandon. Appreciate everything. Tell everybody where they can get your stuff.
Hey, go to dailythunder.com. I'm the beat writer there, and you can download or stream the Danilo Gallinari podcast. It's the Daily Thunder podcast. It's on iTunes, Spotify, everywhere you get your podcast. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Great debut, Brandon, and Brandon's mom. Sup? How we doing?
All right, see you later.
I assume Mrs. Rahbar is very proud about that performance. He was fantastic.
He is all right. I mean, come on, let's not get nuts here.
And you can,
He
and
was okay.
I follow Brandon on Twitter. I would, if you're a Thunder fan,
Yeah.
I would highly suggest it. You can follow him, and that's Brandon. Is it Rahbar?
Rahbar.
Rahbar? Rubbar? I'm going Rahbar.
I went Rahbar. Listen, first time I met him, I went Rahbar, and he was like, people usually don't do that.
Nailed it.
It's weird. He and I kind of have a little bit of a chemistry.
How do we feel about Brandon with an O?
No. Nope.
What's wrong with Brandon? I thought, isn't that the traditional spelling?
No.
It's not, because you can have Brandon with an E or an O. Neither of those. Now, you throw Brandon and you throw a Y in there. Oh,
What is that?
Brandon with a Y.
That sounds
And
like
two N's.
Brandon Eichard
No.
with the
Y and two N's, just
Yeah.
like as a joke. Just give my kid a douchey name just for fun.
Just saying.